Prayer has long been seen as a sacred channel of communication between individuals and the divine, offering a sense of guidance and hope that transcends earthly concerns. When we speak of seeking success and divine guidance in our projects and professional endeavors, we acknowledge a deep-rooted desire for direction and clarity in our ambitions. Many of us face uncertainties as we navigate the complexities of career paths, the demands of the modern workforce, and the need to balance personal growth with the pursuit of meaningful accomplishments. These concerns can feel overwhelming, yet prayer invites us to place our trust in a higher power, recognizing that true success may arise not just from human effort, but also from the blessings and wisdom bestowed upon us by God. This invitation calls us to step beyond the boundaries of our own capabilities, for when we anchor our hopes in the Lord, we discover assurance that our dreams need not rest solely upon our strength. In the spiritual tradition, prayer is considered a lifeline, a bridge between our mortal limitations and divine omnipotence. Through prayer, we not only voice our pleas and requests, but also cultivate a sense of humility, remembering that while we may chase professional success through diligence and passion, ultimate prosperity may depend upon a partnership with divine will. When we come before God with sincere hearts, we open ourselves to the possibility of being guided toward the right decisions, the right opportunities, and the right mindset to grow both professionally and personally. Yet this form of prayer is not only about asking for success. It also reminds us of our responsibility to devote our talents and labor for the greater good, to honor the gifts and opportunities placed in our hands, and to be mindful that success, in the eyes of God, goes beyond material gain and measurable accolades. Although modern culture can sometimes place emphasis on self-reliance, the faith-based perspective invites us to acknowledge our dependence on God's love and wisdom. Instead of carrying the weight of our ambitions alone, we are encouraged to invite divine guidance into each facet of our life. This approach does not diminish our personal efforts, but rather infuses them with a purpose that transcends our ego and fleeting desires. The heart of prayer for success in our work and careers calls us to harmonize our aspirations with God's will, ensuring that every step we take aligns with a higher mission. It reminds us that true success is not merely about personal advancement or fame. Instead, it blossoms from an authentic partnership with the divine, where our gifts are multiplied and our hearts become receptive to the grace and generosity of a loving God. By drawing upon this sacred partnership, we can find ourselves led along a more fulfilling and purpose-driven path. When we make prayer a central part of our professional pursuits, we transform the way we engage with our tasks and responsibilities. Rather than viewing work as a routine obligation or a relentless competition, we begin to see it as an arena where faith can thrive. Each day, we can invite God to illuminate our decisions and actions, trusting that divine wisdom far surpasses our human understanding. This posture of openness helps us respond to challenges with greater resilience and grace. When conflicts arise with co-workers or when projects falter, prayer gently refocuses our perspective, reminding us that obstacles need not be dead ends. By placing our concerns before God, we learn to seek constructive solutions and to cultivate an attitude of cooperation rather than blame or frustration. Over time, a prayerful disposition can transform our entire work environment as we model kindness, integrity, and a willingness to grow in ways that benefit both our teams and ourselves. Prayer also helps us reassess our motivations for seeking success. In a culture that often equates accomplishment with self-promotion, we are encouraged to examine whether we are driven by pride, fear, or a desire for genuine service. When we reflect honestly, we might discover that our ambitions sometimes lean toward personal glory, or that we base our identity on the accolades we receive. Prayer invites us to realign our intentions, reminding us that true success is not about chasing ephemeral approval, but about fulfilling a divine purpose. This shift in mindset can alleviate the anxiety that arises when our self-worth is tied to external validation. As we place our identity in God, we find that our work becomes an act of worship, an opportunity to honor the blessings we have been given. We remain humble in victory and steadfast in defeat, knowing that our ultimate value lies in being children of God rather than in any professional label. Even as prayer lifts our thoughts heavenward, it grounds us in practical diligence. We do not pray for success while neglecting the sweat and discipline required to achieve it. Instead, prayer spurs us to devote our talents wholeheartedly, believing that God can multiply our efforts when offered sincerely. This interweaving of prayer and productivity fosters a balanced approach to career growth. We learn to plan strategically, refine our skills, and persevere through setbacks, while also remaining open to divine prompting. If an opportunity does not materialize as we had hoped, prayer gives us the patience to recalibrate and continue forward. Through dedicated work and faith, we demonstrate our willingness to collaborate with God's purposes, showing that trust in a higher power is not an excuse for passivity, but a catalyst for purposeful action. In many workplaces, the pressure to outperform peers can breed a culture of rivalry and stress. Prayer reshapes this narrative by encouraging us to see our colleagues as fellow travelers rather than obstacles. We begin to pray not only for our own advancement, but for the well-being of those around us. This broadens our perspective, fostering empathy and encouraging genuine relationships. We learn to appreciate the unique contributions each person brings and to offer support or mentorship where needed. As prayer awakens compassion within us, we start to notice how our success can uplift others rather than undermine them. The workplace can become a collaborative space where people work together to meet common goals and celebrate one another's achievements. This shift in culture is subtle but powerful, promoting a sense of shared purpose that can enhance productivity and satisfaction. Though prayer can alleviate certain anxieties, it does not eradicate the hurdles we face in professional life. We may still encounter economic downturns, office politics, or personal hardships that affect our performance. What prayer does offer, however, is resilience rooted in hope. By entrusting our careers to God, we develop a perspective that sees beyond immediate frustrations. We begin to recognize that our setbacks do not define us, nor do they mark the end of our potential. The practice of prayer reconnects us with a source of strength that transcends temporary circumstances. Instead of giving up when challenges loom large, we find renewed motivation to adapt, learn, and press on. This hope sustains us through lengthy job searches, unsuccessful pitches, and moments of insecurity, reminding us that our journey is ongoing and that God's grace remains present in every season. In the process of seeking divine guidance at work, our character undergoes transformation. The humility cultivated through prayer stands in stark contrast to the arrogance that often accompanies unbridled ambition. We become more teachable, open to learning from mistakes, and willing to accept constructive feedback. We also discover a spirit of gratitude that counters entitlement, recognizing that each new opportunity is a gift rather than a guarantee. Over time, these qualities contribute to an environment where trust can flourish. Managers sense that we are cooperative and reliable. Peers appreciate our sincerity, and subordinates find in us a leader who prioritizes their growth. Such relational capital, built upon prayerful self-awareness, can lead to doors opening in unexpected ways, as others see in us a person of substance, guided by principles that foster genuine respect and loyalty. Another profound element of prayer in our professional lives is the capacity it creates for us to sense a higher calling. We might have begun our careers focused on financial security or social standing, only to realize through prayer that there is a deeper mission at hand. This realization may inspire us to use our skills for a cause that serves the vulnerable, advances ethical practices, or champions innovation for the common good. Prayer reveals that we need not confine our goals to personal enrichment, but can commit our talents to endeavors that reflect love, justice, and compassion. This awareness can radically alter our trajectory, leading us to positions, projects, or entrepreneurial ventures that fulfill a godly purpose. When we align our labor with this broader mission, our sense of satisfaction multiplies, for we see how our gifts fit into a tapestry of blessing that extends well beyond ourselves. Still, we must remember that prayer is not merely about what we receive from God. It is also about the disposition of our heart. We learn to surrender our illusions of control and acknowledge that every season of growth requires trust. Sometimes we ascend swiftly up the career ladder, sometimes we plateau, and sometimes we feel we have taken 2 steps back. Prayer teaches us to remain open to these variations. It encourages us to find God's presence in every outcome, gleaning lessons and wisdom from triumphs and disappointments alike. Rather than clinging to our own agenda, we allow God to rearrange our priorities, shape our character, and deepen our faith. This posture does not eradicate all ambition, but it reshapes it, guiding us to aim for excellence while remembering that God's plan might differ from our own. In the tension between aspiration and surrender, we become more flexible, patient, and ultimately more receptive to a divine grace that can exceed our limited vision. Finally, prayer illuminates the responsibility we have to share the fruits of our success with others. When blessings come our way, we can be tempted to hoard them, viewing each accomplishment as a personal triumph. Yet prayer gently reminds us that we are stewards, called to use our influence and resources for a greater good. Whether it involves creating opportunities for those who lack access or lifting up voices that are often overlooked, prayer prepares our hearts to lead with empathy. Our success then becomes a platform for advocacy, generosity, and transformation, reflecting God's heart for unity and equity. In this sense, prayer for career growth is not simply about personal advancement, but about creating ripples of kindness and progress across our professional landscape. By acknowledging God as the ultimate source of our gifts, we find the courage to use them in ways that extend beyond our own fulfillment, giving glory to the one who blesses us in all seasons. This powerful reminder also underlines the link between our inner faith and our outward achievements, showing that every success can become a demonstration of divine guidance at work. When we come before the Lord, asking for a blessing over our work and a guiding hand along our career path, we assert our belief that genuine success flows from a divine source. We recognize that our skills, experience, and ambition, vital as they are, still benefit immeasurably from God's insight. In prayer, we submit our plans, hopes, and anxieties to the one who sees our potential in its entirety and who can steer us toward opportunities that exceed our narrow understanding. This trust in a higher plan does not diminish our responsibility to put forth effort and grow in our field. Instead, it infuses our pursuits with faith, encouraging us to persevere even when obstacles arise. Ultimately, success is more than a destination. It is an evolving journey marked by faithfulness, humility, and openness to serve. When we invite divine guidance into every meeting, every project, and every decision, we allow our workplace to become a stage on which the transformative power of God's love can shine. Our motivations grow pure, our relationships deepen, and our joy in both small tasks and large accomplishments becomes a testimony to the potential that flourishes when we align our hearts with divine wisdom. By anchoring our careers in prayer, we tap into a wellspring of strength that sustains us through triumphs and tragedies alike. We also discover a deeper calling to bless others with the fruits of our labor, recognizing that our successes are ultimately gifts meant to uplift the wider community. In this spirit of sacred partnership, our work transcends mere economic gain and becomes a vessel for spiritual growth, meaningful contribution, and the radiant expression of God's guidance and grace.